in the church, we end our liturgical year with this idea that Christ is king, that Christ reigns. And I think there's a lot of theological significance to it, but I think there's one specific and practical implication of how we end our liturgical year. And I'll share that implication by way of a personal testimony. Right now in my life, I'm going through a lot of transitions. There are things that are happening. Some things are in my control, some things are not in my control. And I'm just trying to hold on to the little bit of hope that I've got, or hold on to the things that I know are going to be true about my life and that continue to be true. But I've had some moments of just, deep anxiety. And the other night I was having that moment. In fact, I was sort of woken up out of sleep with anxiety about my future and some of the things that are happening in my life. Friends, I'm okay, by the way. Not a 5 alarm or anything like that. But just kind of going through life, and I'm sure that you know what it's like. Sometimes life is stressful and you have anxiety about it. And as I was sort of trying to calm myself down and go back to sleep, I heard this word, and this is the word that I heard. I believe it was the Holy Spirit, that Jesus is holding me together and that this is not the end of my story. Jesus is holding me together, and this is not the end of my story. And of many things that we are proclaiming on Christ the King Sunday, it's that. We are proclaiming that Jesus is holding our lives, holding our world together, and that the story isn't over. And this is such an important point to hold on to mentally and spiritually and emotionally, because yes, sometimes life can be so rough. And I think about where I was even 20 years ago. I talked about this last week of just realizing that the semester was not going to end the way that I thought it was going to end. Sometimes relationships don't end the way we think they're going to end. Financial situations, all of it, even health, right? But the confession of Christ the King Sunday, of many confessions, is simply this: that Jesus is going to hold my life together, and that what I'm experiencing right now is not the end of my story. And so I offer that to all of us tonight in the Studio Wesley universe, that wherever you find yourself, whatever you're going through, even if you're like me, being woken up in the middle of the night because of anxiety, I hope that you'll take this in, drop this into the soup of all the stuff that you're ruminating on. Jesus is holding us together, and this is not the end of our story.